What's good, 007s? Welcome back to the channel. Now, we have a new 5-part series I'm going to drop teaching you how to get a girlfriend in 2025. Now, me and my girl, we've been together for a minute, and I used to have a lot of issues keeping a girlfriend. And this is something that I've learned that has taken me so far, and I really hope I can put y'all on game. So the first thing I want you to understand is, and this is the most important part of this 5-part series, it's going to have 5 parts teach you how to get a girlfriend. The most important part is you have to become him. Now, there's so many guys online telling you, oh, I'm him, or oh, you gotta be him, and this and that and this and that, but they don't explain to you what being him really is. It's not about the aura, it's not about the whole, oh, I'm gonna be like Duke Dennis, I'm gonna be like Marlon. Like, that shit is corny. And I'm gonna try not to curse too much in this video because I'm really trying to help y'all. Like, I'm not trying to play around, right? So what I mean by that is I'm not calling Duke or Marlon corny. I don't think they're corny. I believe and I know for a fact they are who they are because of the work that they put in. And a lot of the work goes on behind the scenes, right? So a lot of people see people at the finish line and think, oh, they just became these people overnight. No, you have to really master yourself as a man in order to attract a good quality woman. If you want that baddie who respects you, who treats you well, and all these things that you guys want, you have to be the type of man that deserves it. And who is the man that deserves it? It comes down to the man who knows how to control himself. If you can't control your own emotions, because I used to deal with this, I would get with women that I found attractive and we would start talking, but I would always end up like having things fall out because I wasn't where I needed to be as a man as far as being him, right? And what I mean by that is the way you carry yourself, the way you act, the way you talk, the way you handle situations, the way you control your emotions. A lot of us men, we struggle to control our emotions. But then we try to get with a woman who is already naturally more emotional typically. So if we can't even handle our own emotions as men, how are you going to lead this woman? How are you going to guide this woman? How are you going to stand out? You're not going to be able to stand out until you have yourself in check. Most guys don't have themselves in check. That's why they get played. That's why they go back to a girl after cheating on them. That's why they simp and do all these other things, because they haven't built up themselves enough where they know how to handle their emotions. They know how to handle situations. When me and the women that I used to deal with before my girl would get into an argument, I would blow up. I would try to argue with them and make them feel bad, and I would crash out. And it's like, if you can't even trust yourself to control your emotions and handle things like a man, and to be able to be respectful and mature about your actions and the decisions you make, you will never succeed with women. Because a lot of guys deal with women who put their hands on them. A lot of guys deal with women who don't respect them. That's because they know that that man is not in control of himself, much less the situation. So it's all about learning how to control a situation, and that starts with your own situation. If your girl or a girl you're dealing with says something that upsets you and you crash out on her, you're going to feel better for a few minutes. But then that's going to be followed up by a bunch of consequences. Whether you guys stop talking, whether she looks at you differently, she knows that you can't lead her, you can't hold yourself together. And it will mess with your own psyche, because you will think that, like, I shouldn't have acted like that. Now you want to apologize, or maybe now your game is thrown off. But when you learn how to control your own emotions, whenever a woman brings the negativity, the BS, or whatever emotion she has that's making you feel bad, you're going to know how to navigate. You're going to be able to say, listen, this is not what I'm on. Either we can be civilized and get back on track, or we can go our separate ways. But you have to be able to say that and stand your ground without getting emotional, without crashing out. If a girl is wasting your time and you know a girl isn't really interested in you, you have to have enough control of your emotions and your wants to say, okay, I was interested, but I'm going to have to charge this woman to the game. Women do not play games with men who don't allow games. They only play games with men who allow games. So if you're the type of man where you're putting up with things because, oh, she's so bad, oh, she's so pretty, I can't get another girl like this, you're already letting her know that she's levels above you and she will never respect you. You're treating her like a celebrity, she's treating you like a man. In my relationship now, me and my girl, we both do things for each other. We both treat each other with respect, and I'm learning patience. I'm getting so much better with patience and handling my emotions as a man, that majority of the time we're together, it's good vibes. It used to be bad vibes at one point where, she would do something or I would do something, and then it turned into an argument, and then I'm blowing up and I'm acting in the feminine. I'm not acting like a man. And a good book to read is The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. He talks a lot about how to navigate your own emotions as a man, because for you to be him, you can't be overly emotional. You can't be throwing tantrums. You can't be acting like a female. It's just not going to work. You're going to have to learn how to control your emotions and use your logic to understand, okay, this is the situation that I'm in. How can I direct it into what I want it to be? So let's say you and your girl are arguing, but you want the argument to come to an end and you know that it's pointless. Stop arguing with her, stop yelling with her. Talk to her, let her know, look, this is where I'm at with it. I care about you, I want this to work, but I can't put up with X, Y, and Z. And you have to stand on that. That is becoming him. That is real aura. When as a man, you can put your foot down in a respectful way. You ain't gotta yell, you ain't gotta crash out, try to belittle anybody. You can be respectful about something and you can hold your ground. And eventually that woman, she has two choices. Either A, she's gonna get with the program, she's gonna respect you as a man, and she's gonna see you're different than the other guys she's been with, who either give her what she wants all the time, or they crash out and get all emotional. Because once a woman sees that you're emotional, she can no longer look at you seriously. She can no longer trust you because you're showing that you're not to be taken seriously as a man. Because think about this seriously. Think about the type of man that you want to be. Think about the type of relationship you'd want to have. You don't want to be acting emotional and crashing out. That's not attractive. That's not how a man should conduct himself, right? You want to be in control of the situation, and you want your woman to be able to respect you. So if you were in the talking stage with a girl and y'all run into conflict and you crash out, that's letting her know, like, hey, this isn't a man I probably can depend on. This isn't a man I can rely on. Because if you are in a talking stage with a girl and you want something for her, like let's say you don't want a woman who is constantly going out partying and clubbing, but every time y'all get in an argument, she goes out and parties and clubs. That's telling you right there, like, yo, I don't want to deal with this type of woman seriously. So until you can control yourself, build your confidence, build your self-esteem, and have emotional intelligence, you're going to struggle in a relationship setting, because it takes a lot of sacrifice in relationships. You have to be very patient, because sometimes the woman that you're with, she's going to do some things and you're going to be like, it's not going to make sense, or maybe it'll frustrate you, but you have to learn how to say, okay, let me talk to her, let me lead, let me sit her down and say, hey, look, I don't appreciate this is what it is, hear her out, whatever, and make the decision from there. But a lot of guys are an emotional wreck, or they're so scared because they're scared to lose the girl that they're willing to put up with anything, or they're acting emotional, or they're acting out of fear. And a man that's really him, a man that can really lead and control a relationship in a healthy way, he's not doing those things. So I want you to look in the mirror, how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself, how you handle your own emotions and other conflicts in your life before you even think about bringing somebody else into your life, because you're now taking on what they have going on. But I hope this helped y'all. This was part 1. It's going to be a 5-part series. You just have to remember, you have to be him, control your emotions, control yourself, and the rest will follow. See you on the next one. Make sure y'all follow me on the gram at TFAXL. Love y'all. Peace.